And YouTube fans of DX Engineering, it is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA, and we are ready for Tuesdays with DX Engineering. And today we have one of our DX Engineering sales and technical advisors. It's Troy, AC8OW. Hello, Troy.
Hello, Tim, and everybody in YouTube and Facebook.
It's great to have you on, Troy. And I know, Troy, you've been really active here recently with a lot that's going on in the world of emergency communications and also another one of your favorite hobbies, Parks on the Air. Let's start with MCOM. What's going on there, man?
So, Tim, with the hurricanes that came through and everything, everybody is really keyed in on how am I going to communicate when all else fails. And so GMRS has really stepped into the forefront with FEMA pushing neighborhood communications ideas and family communications ideas. So now we at DX Engineering have a whole slew of GMRS family and community packages that we put together. So if you want to be able to have a family packet that all in one kit, you can grab a little waterproof case and it's got 4 radios in it, and your family's good to go. We've got other kits that have mobile radios in them, and kits where everybody has their own backpack and radio ready to go. Just a lot of different ideas. The whole idea of community communications is really being pushed hard. And believe it or not, here in Northern Ohio, one of our counties has actually put together a county-wide GMRS communications plan.
Wow. So things have changed. Obviously, it's great when friends and family get amateur radio licenses, and then they can use amateur radio spectrum, especially just even getting a technician class license. But in this case, if you want something that's quick and will get the job done, then GMRS is a great way to go. And now we have the packages here at DX Engineering to do that. Troy, let's because we're hams. Let's talk about the frequencies that are used and how much power is used on GMRS.
So GMRS uses frequencies up in the 465 range, 465 megahertz range. So it's north of the amateur bands, but it's very low power. We're talking 5 watts or less in most cases. And so, it is a very limited communications package, and it is designed just for, you're got 2 different cars, or grandma lives on the next street over and you want to be able to talk to her. You've got the kids that are maybe across at the market, and you want to get a hold of them real quick. If something happens, you hear of something happening, you can grab it and be in touch. So it does not offer nearly the range or the flexibility that amateur radio does, because GMRS is also channelized. There are 8 channels. The radios are locked into those channels that you have to communicate on.
Yeah, so I think that's a really important point that you bring up, Troy, is that it's not as flexible, and the ability to have larger antennas and power can really make a difference when it comes to range. But GMRS has a real important part in the communication spectrum, especially when it comes to emergencies, right?
Correct, because it's convenient in the fact that a head of household can get a license, and it covers the immediate family living in that household. So mom, dad, and a couple of kids can be covered under one license and one licensing fee. And I like to call it the gateway to amateur radio. You get involved with it, you see all of the benefits of radio communications, and before you know it, you realize that you're going to outgrow what's available in GMRS and move then into getting everybody licensed, at least at the technician level, for amateur radio.
Right. And Troy, let's talk about that. we have these ham in a day classes, or the ham crams. Just how effective in your experience have these 1 day classes, either online or in person, been for getting your technician license?
We've had a lot of success. One of the clubs that I belong to, the Seneca Radio Club, which as of January, I will be the vice president of that club, by the way. Um,
Great.
we just did a 1 day amateur radio class, and I believe there were 7 in the class, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so far, 3 of those have taken and passed the test. So, not bad there. And the other ones just felt they wanted a little more time to study. So.
And that's okay too. I know, Troy, you have preached, hey, you gotta read the questions and answers, and take the online tests, right?
Right.
And then it's helpful to have either an online instruction or an in-person instruction, somebody that you can ask questions to and explain these topics, because there's a whole different language associated with amateur radio.
Oh, it really is. And my wife has been around me being involved in amateur radio for years. And when the eclipse was approaching and I was making all the preparations for our emergency operations center and everything, one night she just looks at me and she says, "So how am I going to communicate with you if something happens?" And I said, "That's what I've been saying for 10 years." So she started studying, but you're right. Every once in a while she'd look up from the book and say, "Explain this to me." And it's just nice to have that
Right.
Either online or in person, somebody to explain a concept or a language.
And I think that's really important, because it can get frustrating when you're starting to learn this. Troy, I want to take a look in the chat room here, and we have some folks on today, and we've got Lou is on, Kilo Tango 1 Radio. He's on from West Virginia, and then Craig, Whiskey Echo 2 Delta X-Ray, is on from New Jersey. Always good to have you on, Craig. And Rodney, Kilo Juliet 5 Fox Whiskey Charlie, he says, "Good afternoon, all. Made my first HF contacts over the Thanksgiving holidays. I got my Diamond Hunter, and he's got 20 stations in the log, all with 20 watts and home-built wire antennas. He loves Parks on the Air, and he's going to be an activator next." That's an incredible story, Troy, where 20 watts and home-built wire antennas. I mean, who doesn't like to put together an antenna, then put it up, and it works?
Exactly. That's awesome. Congratulations, Rodney. And you're right, Tim. There's just a sense of accomplishment when you start with a pile of parts and put it together, and next thing you know, you're talking across the country or across the world.
And now he's got the Diamond Hunter status. He's on his way with 20 states in the log, and I think quickly here he's going to finish the work to all states. But one of the things that he's come across is Parks on the Air, and boy, I mean, if you tune 40 meters and 20 meters today, except for you're maybe in the snow belt, but if you're not in the snow belt, there's a lot of Parks on the Air.
Oh, you can't turn on 20 meters or 40 meters and not come across multiple Parks on the Air. And it's exciting just to, people that don't want to set up big home stations, or they're in HOAs, maybe you've got a lot of parks around you, and that's a neat hobby to get into. I love Parks on the Air.
It really is, and it takes the whole HOA thing, or I can't put up antennas in my small backyard, off the table, because you can do a lot just by going to the nearby parks, the state parks. Rodney also says he has GMRS for his family due to the AT&T issues earlier this year. So I think he's probably speaking about cell phone coverage. And so the GMRS has started a whole new radio adventure for him. Our friend Bob the Traveler, that's Whiskey Delta 8 November, Victor November, says GMRS radio seems more practical in emergency communications because everyone can figure out how to use GMRS. It's really easy, Troy.
It is, but there needs to be some sort of coordination with it, simply because if everybody's trying to clog up those 8 channels, and that's why the Ottawa County here in Northern Ohio has put up repeaters in areas on those 8 channels that are separated, so they don't interfere with each other and will allow for use in various neighborhoods around the county.
Right. And we've got Yoda YS. It says, hello, Tim and Troy, 73, I think from El Salvador, Yankee Sugar Land. And Donnie is on. Donnie says, I just got GMRS the other day. And Donnie is also Kilo 4 Echo Kilo. Scotty Meyer from the DX Engineering sales team is on. And always good to see Scotty, Kilo Golf 9 Zulu. And our friend Skip Longpath, also on the DX Engineering team, has put a link in there for getting the proper license for GMRS. And you mentioned, Troy, it extends to the whole family.
Correct. Not everybody has to. There is no test involved. It's simply filling out the information, certifying that you're not a felon and those types of things, and then paying them the $35. And I think it was 10 minutes I had my call sign in my email box.
Nice. From Alaska is Kilo Lima 5 November Echo. And Adrian is on from the Netherlands, Papa Echo 2 Kilo. Skip comments on the GMRS frequencies. And in Alaska, they had 5 or 6 activations over the weekend, and they are in the snow belt.
That's for sure.
And let's see. We've got Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. As a full-time RVer, I believe GMRS is the way to go in the boonies. It can save your marriage when backing up with no cell phone coverage. Well, anything for the cause. And we've got David. I took advantage of Black Friday sales on portable power units for ham radio and small electronics. Troy, sales are off the charts here over, as I'm sure you've seen here at DX Engineering. And Avail Kilo Bravo 2 Uniform Echo Whiskey says, thanks. Great job, DX Engineering. Fantastic, 73. So, Troy, we got to get you back on again. We're going to talk about more when it comes to Parks on the Air as we go through the winter months and getting ready for field day, etc. Thanks so much for all you do for all our customers here at DX.
Tim, thanks for having me. And I love spending time with our customers. So good to do it in this format once in a while.
Okay. And you can always reach Troy via email, dxengineering@dxengineering.com, or give us a call on the 800 number, send us a text, whatever you desire. There we go. We want you to have fun with the best hobby in the world. Until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.